Now, I love the name of this cake. It's called a lumberjack cake, and I'll come back to the story behind it in about a second. But first of all, I'll just get this started because this has to sit until it's warm, and I've got 200 grams of pitted dates, which I've just chopped finely, and 2 or 3 Granny Smiths, depending on their size, which I've peeled, cored and grated. And to that we add 1 teaspoon of bicarb of soda, 1 cup of boiling water. And then we mix it up well and we leave it until it's warm. Now, to talk about my beloved lumberjack cake, which I do like, it's a lovely bloody cake, admittedly. But to talk about it, the reason I first made it was because I always remember that wonderful Monty Python sketch. Do you remember that? Where he talked about, or he sang about being a lumberjack. And can I read one of the not choruses, one of the verses? I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspendies and a bra. I wish I'd been a girlie just like my dear papa. Now, when you see a song like that, you have to cook a cake that's called a lumberjack cake, don't you? So that's where it came from. Gee, I'm glad I shared that with you. They were very funny, Monty Python. But of course, I'm a huge fan of John Cleese. We all do remember Faulty Towers, don't we? Actually, I knew restaurateurs who couldn't watch Faulty Towers because they reckon that Basil and Manuel's antics paled into insignificance when compared to their own. Bit scary, isn't it? Now, next step, some soft butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I may have told you this story before, but I always remember this. I was watching one of the winners from one of the Horticultural Society shows, and she won all the prizes, and she said the reason that she won everything was she always measured accurately when making her cakes and the like. And I was always a bit, not very good at making cakes, but I was always a bit hit and miss with that. And ever since I've followed her instructions, what do I call them, instructions? Anyway, her idea, my cake and pastry and dessert making has improved dramatically. So thank you very much. Just keep on mixing that. And then we mix up this butter, this sugar. Did I say it was 1 cup of sugar? I can't remember. Make sure that your butter's soft, and we just mix this up until it's cream. Now, you know what cream, it sort of changes its colour a bit. But be a bit careful, don't get too excited, because what happens if you get too excited? It can split. Now, just while that's happening, I've got 1.5 cups of flour here, which I'm just going to sift. Now, the reason behind sifting it, but the reason it aerates the flour itself, gets rid of any bad lumps and aerates it. So it makes the cake lighter. Can we just add 1 egg and mix that in? And when that's mixed in well, we then start adding this flour bit by bit. Don't just dump the whole lot in, please. All right, guys, this is looking pretty good. And then we throw in our apple and date mix, and we mix that up fairly well. But do mix it in really well, because you don't want lumps of dates. And you know how dates stick together, don't you? Right, what I've got here is a 20 centimetre springform pan, and it's buttered and lined. Spread it into the edges, and it goes into a 170-degree oven for 30 minutes. So that's not the be-all and end-all, because what we then have is another mix that goes on top after 30 minutes, and then it goes back into the oven for another 30 minutes until a skewer comes out clean. So what I've got here is 75 grams of butter, 1 cup of desiccated coconut, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and 1/2 cup of milk. And we just put that on the stove, and we will cook that until it's melted and well combined. Now, what then happens, guys, is that gets poured over the top of your cake, and that goes back into the oven for 30 minutes. All right, my dear friends, the 30 minutes is up, so let's pull this out. I can tell you it smells good. Now, I think I said 30 more minutes. I meant 40. So that just goes on top, right out into the edges, and then it goes back into the oven, still at 170, 40 minutes now. Now, guys, you're going to have to find some friends for this, because this is not for one person, and it's not something that can go into the freezer. Now this, of course, is what is known as a tea cake. Some icing sugar on top, and because this is known as a tea cake, Ruth suggested we have a cup of tea with it. So what she has made is a lovely mint tea, which I think will go absolutely beautifully with it. A terrific cake. Let's have a taste. Oh, Iain. That is absolutely wonderful. Guys, to show your support for my channel and to keep in the loop, subscribe. It's easy to do, and don't forget, it's free. Okay, cheers.